Hi kids, nice to see you again. Oh, well, I can't see you, but I'm assuming that you can see me. Here we are again, and we're looking this week at question 6. I can't believe already you've got through questions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now we're on 6. And I've been watching the videos and I've really enjoyed them. So first of all, we're going to remember what question 5 from last week, which the Mabrys did for us, was about. And the question was, what else did God create? And the answer was, God created all things, and all his creation was very good. And I really enjoyed watching the Mabrys A to Z of all the things of creation. That was amazing, all the different things they got from the whole alphabet. And later on we might be videoing a few things that will show us more ideas of what God created, because his creation is amazing. I wish we could go out in the night sky and video some of the stars. They are incredible. So some of you have sent in some pictures of creation this week, and we're going to look at those now. And thank you for sending them in, and we'll enjoy seeing those right now. So, on to this week's question, question 6. And question 6 is, how can we glorify God? And the answer is, by loving him and by obeying his commands and laws. Now, I have looked at your past videos, and I looked at the one with Grandpa Joe in, and I think he talked a bit there about glorifying, because it's not a word we use in everyday language. But we thought we'd just do a little illustration of what glorifying means.
You put dragons, come on, Wales! Woo!
Trey, what are you doing?
I'm supporting my team. I want everyone to know how amazing Newport Dragons are. Come on, Wales! Woo!
Do you really think they're amazing?
Absolutely.
Oh,
I want everyone to know they are the best rugby team ever.
and that's why you're shouting and waving your flag?
Absolutely.
And why you've got all your kit on?
Absolutely.
Wow, you think
Come
they're the best team ever?
Dragons.
Thanks, Trey. So, Trey thinks the Newport Dragons are the best rugby team around. Maybe not everybody will agree with her, but that's what she was doing. She was glorifying her team because she thinks they're amazing. She was showing us, she was shouting. She might have sung, but she didn't sing. And she was waving her hands around and she was showing everyone how excited she was. And that is glorifying. Now, we can glorify God. We could run around shouting. Maybe sometimes we will. But there are lots of different ways that we can glorify God. And we're going to look at a few verses and we'll find out there some different ways from the Bible that talk about glorifying God. So there are lots of verses in the Bible that talk about some of the ways that we can glorify God. And I want you to listen out, and Trey's going to show us the verse that tells us how we can use different parts of our body to glorify God. So the first one is from Psalm 63, and it says, "Because your steadfast love is better than life, my lips will praise you." And we can do that by singing or by talking to God in prayer and just thanking him for how amazing he is. The next one is from Psalm 134, and it says, "Lift up your hands to the holy place and bless the Lord." And you'll see sometimes in church that people lift their hands, and that's because they're thinking about God and they are glorifying and blessing him. The third one comes from Psalm 95, and it says, "O come, let us worship and bow down. Let us kneel before the Lord, our Maker." And sometimes people want to really think about God, and kneeling down is a way that they can glorify him and think about him. And the last one is, "Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good." Is that a good pear, Trey?
Delicious.
Delicious pear. Well, the Lord is even better. And obviously we can't physically taste him, but we can think about him. It means that we're thinking about him and just remembering how good he is and how amazing all the things he's done are. So all these different ways are ways that we can glorify God. We can use our minds, our hearts, because that's how we show that we love him, and parts of our body to show that we think how important he is, how special he is, and how we can glorify him. So that is by loving him. So we've talked about different ways that we can glorify God, and we've talked about loving him, and we've looked at some of the pictures that you've made, the lovely pictures that you've made of things that God has made. And all these things remind us how amazing God is. There are thousands and thousands of different kinds of plants and different kinds of leaves and different kinds of animals and different kinds of insects. I expect a lot of you have learnt about mini beasts and all the different things that God made in creation, that he didn't have to make all that variety, but he made them just to show how amazing he is, and that just helps us to love him more, and we glorify him by loving him. We also glorify him by obeying his commands and laws, and we're going to talk about that a bit more next time. But just to remember that we're not obeying his commands and laws because he's saying that if you obey me, I'll love you even more. He loves us as much as he possibly could love us already. He sent Jesus to die for us, and he couldn't love us any more than he does. But if we really love him, we'll want to obey the things that he's asked us to do. And we'll talk a bit more about some of the things that he's asked us to do on our next video. But just to remember that God is great, he loves us, and we want to show our love to him and glorify him by loving him and by obeying his commands and laws. See you next time. Bye for now.